So, and I think it's very unique to some degree to Australia and Melbourne, like around the world. You wouldn't go to many countries in the world where they auction off a house on the street. It's not. God, that is the dream. Like if we ever got to that, what more do you ever need in life? That one takes the cake,
That one takes the cake 100% every single time.
Awesome,
right?
man. Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Aussizz Unplugged. A little bit of a break, but we are back again, firing away with another extremely special guest. The one and only Kevin Chokshi with us in our studio. Kevin, thank you so much.
Thanks, Sherry. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I think this is a bit special one. We have been planning this one for a bit just to have you, just to pick your brains.
Not that special.
Yeah. Oh, we were going to find out because I've got some interesting stuff just to figure out because I think some of our audience members will enjoy this, especially because we are slowly realizing there's a lot of students who are watching some of our videos and they send us questions saying that, oh, that's very interesting because they never, thought about it that way. With you in specific, during research, I found something that you said about how you came here when you were 18, 2 bags of clothes, $2,000 in your pocket, no mobile phone, no contacts, which is the quintessential rough international student life, right?
Yeah.
Like as much as the industry glamours it up a little bit, you don't really hear much about that. So if you could just run me about how that part of your journey was.
Oh man, I've had an interesting journey. So obviously, I moved here in 2006 on the 17th of August. I left India on the 15th of August, which was Independence Day, and that's when I got my independence as well. And I left home. Yeah. And then I moved here as, I think I just turned 19 as a university student. I came to Geelong to study bachelor's in IT. Yeah. I did that for 3 years. I finished that. I didn't have much interest in that particular area. Before that, I did my schooling in India, in Ahmedabad, in Gujarat, and then I was training to join the army. So I spent a few months in a small port town called Jamnagar in Gujarat, where I was training for the National Defence Academy. And then I got out of that, and there was a pathway program which I ended up joining, and then I moved here in 2006, did IT. Early days were fun, obviously the usual struggles, which we'll explore a little bit later on. And then after that, I was just doing part-time jobs like any other immigrant, restaurants, pizza shops, cafes, all that sort of stuff, petrol stations. And from there on, it was a complete chance encounter. I have this book that we give clients, and the title of the book is A Chance Encounter. My life is a sequence of just a lot of little chance encounters. It's never planned, and just by chance there's an encounter. And one of those chance encounters was, there used to be this regular customer that used to come to the petrol station where I used to work in Belpost Hill. And she was in real estate, and as a part of my normal routine, you talk to people, how's your day, how are you going, all that sort of stuff. And one day she came there in her real estate uniform, and I just got curious, and I said, oh, you work in real estate, how do you find it? And she said, it's really good, I think you'll be really good at it. And I sort of thought, oh, I've never really thought of it. The only dealings I've had in real estate were through, getting rental properties.
Correct, yeah.
And she was kind enough, her name was Kathy, she gave me her boss's phone number, and she said, give Joe a call and tell her that you know me. And subsequently I called Joe, and Joe gave me a job, and that's sort of how the journey started. So quite the extremes on many fronts of how life has played out, but it's been a really exciting one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that there were just two things of that about you saying being a chance encounter. I think some people might take it as it just being purely down to luck or just you just being in the right place at the right time. But say something just specific to you getting into real estate. Was there ever a moment where obviously you came here to do a bachelor's of IT, right? Where you ever thought that you would do IT for the rest of it?
I was no good at it.
Okay.
If you saw my scores, you'd know I was no good at it. So, IT was out of the question. It was more a part of my parents' ambition than mine for me to study IT, and also it was a necessary box to tick for me to come here and get into it. And look, I don't think people would be entirely wrong in assuming that I've had a lot of good luck on the way, because I think I've had some really good luck. Anyone that does well has had some good luck their way. The thing about luck or chances is everyone has an equal share of it. Have you ever played the game called Temple Run?
Yeah, yes I have.
So I feel like it's a bit silly, but Temple Run's a metaphor for life.
Okay.
So if you play Temple Run, your job is just to run. And if there's a tree, you jump over it, you turn, but you navigate through it, but you just keep running.
Okay.
The longer you run, the more hurdles you face, but also you collect these things along the way. So you collect these little, you know, the gold coins, and then along the way you collect this one coin that makes you run faster, and then you collect this blue coin which makes you avoid any giants that come along the way. And I think it's a metaphor for life that as long as you keep running, hurdles are going to come, but also along the way you collect these little brownie points. The good luck part are those points, you know, the chance encounters, the good luck, the opportunities that kind of just show up out of nowhere.
Correct. Yep.
So I feel like, I know it's a bit of a silly example, but I think it is just so true in life that people, you know, I tell people, think about someone, what drives a human being to leave everything and everyone they've ever known, to leave it all behind and start fresh. I think that's the epitome of someone playing Temple Run with their life. And going somewhere and giving it a red hot crack, and along the way they pick up little points. And the other thing is just, again, if you keep running and you're open-minded, things will show up. So if you're sitting on the couch, God's not going to take care of it.
Correct.
What it means is let go of what you believe to be true. So if you just keep running, what you think and what sometimes happens is different. So you just have to be open-minded to be able to explore it. And I think a lot of the greats, I mean, you know, the great people, even within the Aussizz organisation, that have done extremely well, one of the hallmarks of those people is that they are just willing to go out and give it a crack and try new things and just play the real game of Temple Run and just go out and just keep trying. And along the way, there's, you know, you accidentally fall in the river.
Well, correct,
and a lot of times you pick up some good, well, hopefully
Cannot,
not, but you pick up some good gold coins along the way.
Correct,
And then someone else watching thinks, oh, how come he picked up these little coins along the way? Well, because I just ran a lot longer than what most people did. So they're sort of pretty well tied in together, in my opinion. And I did an interview for this magazine called Elite Agent about 6 months ago, and I told the guy, I said, if you'd asked me 15 years, and I think anyone that's been successful, especially as a migrant in this country, I said to them, if you'd asked me 15 years ago to give you a prediction of my life, right? So if you said to me 15 years ago, it would have been 2008. If you said in 2008, give me a prediction of your life in 15 years. So where you'll be living, what you'll be earning, what you'll be doing for work, what will you look like, who you'll be married to, what your interests might be like, what kind of human you'll be. 100% of the answers would have been wrong. 100%. Like I would have had such a poor predictor of my own life that in itself sort of teaches you to spend less time predicting and more time trying.
Correct. Yep.
And so I think that's
more on your feet. Fair.
And I think that's just such an interesting sort of thing that I've observed with people that come here, that they probably, obviously everyone tries to predict the future. That's what, you know, we're all trying to do. But I think it's a lot of times the fun in life is to not worry about predicting and just keep running that race.
Correct. I love that analogy. I think that was beautiful, the fact that you compared Temple Run to this, and I think we've had some great analogies on this podcast. And I think that one takes the cake. That one takes the cake 100% every single time.
Awesome,
right?
man. Thank you.
Perfect.
I'm glad.
Yeah, just towards the end as well, I think just the idea of how people come here and like you have goals, right? Like you make a list of goals, even if you're 18 and you've come here. Do you think you've done most of them, or do you think new ones have popped up obviously along the way as you have explored and kind of figured out where your life's headed? But you would have had some overarching ones. Do you think you have completed them, or are they being slightly molded? How do we feel about that?
Goals are a funny one, man. There is no finish line with goals. I feel like you think there is a finish line, there just isn't. They just, you know, it's like, goals are like going back to Temple Run since you liked it so much. It's like, you know, once you do a really good run and you collect lots of points, the game doesn't come to an end. You just go to stage 2.
Correct.
And then stage 3 and then stage 4 and then each stage keeps getting harder.
Correct.
And more fun because you have more superpowers and you have a better shoe and a better hat and all that sort of stuff. But more hurdles and more challenges and all that sort of stuff. And you get to pick up some bigger gold coins. So there is no finish line from that standpoint. I mean, and the goals are in perspective of where you are in life. So for example, I remember it must have been 2007 and we were 12 months in, right? So we were struggling just like any new migrant, we were struggling. My English wasn't that good. This is a lot of practice over the years. And I didn't know what my future looks like. I was terrible at IT, so obviously university, I didn't think much was going to come out of that. And I was saving up money to become a security guard. So true story. So I'd saved up $2,500 to get a security license because someone else said, if you become a security guard, you get to work public holidays and they pay you a lot of money to do that. So that was my goal at that point in time.
Yeah.
And one of our friends back then, he used to live with us in the same house, and he finished his IT degree and he got a job back then. He got a placement after university, and it was very sharp with his study. And I think back then he got his starting salary was 80,000 or whatever. I can't remember. And I remember me and Karan back then were just in awe. We were like, my God, that is the dream. Like if we ever got to that, what more do you ever need in life, you know? All of this stuff that's happened was never even, our vision was just so small, and what we thought was possible and what we were capable of. So they kind of just change in perspective to life. And not just financial. I have 4 or 5 different goals. Like I have financial goals, spiritual goals, family goals. I have health goals as well. So one of my health goals was to be really fit. So I'm currently the fittest I've ever been in my life. So that's one of the goals. I've got a spiritual goal, which is obviously important. I've got a relationship goal. I've got a family goal. So my family goals are also changing because I didn't have a family a few years ago, whereas now, you know, I've got a second kid on the way. So that sort of changed over time. Like one of my goals is to cook for the family once a week on a Sunday. So I'm like, I do so much for these people that I don't even know that well. Why can't I cook once a week for the family? Not always the best meal, but they say it's nice. So that's what's important.
It's the effort that counts, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So Sundays I try and cook for the family, or you know, like I'll try and help my wife with bath time or whatever. So, you know, like self-care goals, like my fitness, like I'll get up in the morning and I'll do stuff. Like it's funny, I went to the gym this morning and I've done a lot of work on myself, but I was listening to this podcast and someone was talking about an energy healer. Have you ever heard of an energy healer?
Wouldn't be.
Neither have I, right? I heard it the first time this morning. So I just did the most normal thing anyone would do. I went on Google and I searched energy healer and I found this really good energy healer. I think I've never tried it, so I don't know. Somewhere in Carlton, and they're specialists in it. It's a new thing that's really gaining popularity. So I just booked myself in. So I'm going to this Thursday. So I thought, what's there to lose? I'll just go and spend an hour and a half with this energy healer and see what she does. And I thought, you know, like, why not try? What's the worst that can happen?
So you're more open to immerse yourself into new experiences
and
well
just,
now, right?
Absolutely. Just, you know, like one of my other goals is travel. Like I love travel. Until COVID, every year I used to take 2.5 months off. We used to go to Europe for a month. And then we used to go to India to see the family for a month in Jan and a couple of little breaks. And it was amazing. It was just great time spent together. So I think the other part of me is like success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. If you have success, as in financial success, but you don't feel fulfilled because all the other spheres, you know, so like they say in our religion, but in a different way in Hinduism, they say all your chakras got to be lined up. Right? And humility and it requires, you know, something that stays in the centre. So you're not too up, you're not too down. You're sort of at or somewhere as close to the centre as possible. And that's sort of what I focus on. As I've gotten older, 10 years ago, my answer would have been very different. My answer would have been, you know, I want to buy a new Porsche every year, for example. Like it just would have been a wildly different answer. And of course, those goals are still there. Like, but I feel like once you reach a certain level, the things you used to value once upon a time, then they're not your prime focus. So I feel like that finish line just constantly keeps moving. And then you want to do stuff for other people, like stuff like this. Hopefully, you know, even if there's one person that, I mean, God knows how many people are interested. There might be 10 people that are interested. Hopefully 8 out of those 10 are going to be my family members.
Love that. That's most of the
so out of the other 2 that are not my family members that listen to this, if there's one person whose life gets influenced, I think that's the one true investment. You know, like you buy properties and shares and all that. They're good investments, but when you make investments in people, I don't think there's no greater investment in that. So a lot of my mindset's kind of moved around that sort of stuff over the years too.
Yeah.
So
Brilliant.
I know it's a long answer to your
Beautiful.
short
No, but
question.
that was good. There were quite a few points that I do want to attach with later. There's also something you said a little bit earlier about moving goals, and something I had was about social media that I was just thinking about, because you were talking about the evolution of everything, and my mind kind of pivoted to how social media has kind of evolved.
Yeah.
And it's also important because you're very active on social media.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So I just want to know, that's not obviously just particular to the real estate industry. It's pretty much everywhere, right? So what is your kind of approach to that? That sphere about how you do your social media? Do you have a plan, or is it just, I need to make the videos, I get my face out there, these are the...
Just be everywhere. Okay. Like whatever's out there, like if there's podcasts, if there's video, if there's shorts, if there's TikTok, if there's TV, I'm the most media agent in Melbourne. So last year I got $11 million worth of free media. I had an average of one mention per week in every major newspaper. Okay. I'm on TV, if you check most Saturdays, Herald Sun, Channel 7, Channel 10, Domain, Realtor.com, The Age, Financial Review. I do a lot of work with those people as well. So like any outlet that people have eyeballs on, I want to be on it. And I want my company on it. And I think it's just, I sort of fundamentally think you are not going to beat them by doing less.
True. Yep.
You're only going to beat them by doing more.
100%.
So if people's eyeballs are on TikTok, hey, we've got a great product to show, let's be there. So about a month ago, I didn't really have much to do with TikTok until I met this guy, Daniel, from a company called Side Logic, and he's unbelievable. And he filmed at auction, and he posted at 9 o'clock at night, and by 10 a.m. the next morning, it had reached 50,000 views. And I thought,
brilliant, yeah.
That's pretty special.
Auctions do really well on TikTok, because my feed on TikTok is just auctions as well. And I enjoy it because I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to buy a house in a long, long time, but I enjoy being there because, or just being able to see.
Clearly there's an appetite that I didn't realise, and then it kind of just started from that, but exactly like you said, a lot of people...
Because it's also weirdly, like, I think, entertainment as well. Right?
Oh, it's absolutely. Yeah. It's street theatre.
Correct, exactly. It's a performance for you as well.
It's a performance on the street. So, and I think it's very unique to some degree to Australia and Melbourne, like around the world. You wouldn't go to many countries in the world where they auction off a house on the street. It's not it's not a common concept. So you think about someone that's sitting in some part of the world that's watching them going, what a way to sell a house. Like how interesting is that, So and obviously there's a lot of appetite in our market. I mean, and I've been very fortunate. 2017, 18, I was ranked the #1 auctioneer in Victoria. Last year and this year, I've been ranked in the top 5 and top 10 in Australasia. So it's a big part of my brand and why people want to use me and my company. But yeah, we just never really thought much of it, and we thought, this is pretty special. People love it, so let's just showcase it.
It's true. Okay. There's also a lot of practice to this. So like, how do you even get into it? And now this is just personally just for me. I think like I'm kind of sidetracked with the podcast. I'm just very, very curious about how do you prepare for something like this? Do you learn it somewhere, or do you just see what people do and then kind of make your own sort of theme or approach to it?
Good question. You definitely can get coaching for it. Mine was very interesting. So when I got into real estate, because you don't make much money, just like any new craft, until you become a proper practitioner in that field. So I was doing real estate during the day, and then I was still working at the petrol station at night time. Okay. And when I was there, I used to watch YouTube videos and make notes and just practice. And then 12 months later, I went to my boss and I said, I'm ready to be an auctioneer. And she's like, oh yeah, I'll arrange some coaching for you. And I'm like, no, look, I'm ready. I've already trained, I'm ready to go. Do you want a sample? And she's like, yeah. So I gave her a sample. And she was happy. And then the following year, someone in my office put my name down for the novice auctioneers comp, and I ended up winning that. Yep. And then just over the years, obviously, the more you do, the more, just like anything, frequency builds trust. The more frequently you do something, the more you start to trust yourself. Yeah. With anything in life, it's like riding a push bike, exactly the same. And yeah, just over the years, I got sort of more comfortable and confident with it, and then there's a level of social proof that comes from other people watching and giving you feedback, and that sort of helps early days. These days, it doesn't too much. Like I don't care too much for it in the sense, like this is saying, right? If you believe them when they tell you you're amazing, you're going to believe them when they tell you you suck. Yeah, correct. So not that I don't believe people when they tell me I'm amazing, but it's like, I don't try and hold on to it too much, because But generally speaking, you know, when you get some great feedback, obviously it helps. It gets your endorphins going and it pushes you to try even more. And I think I've done over 2,000 auctions, obviously a lot of practice.
2,000 auctions, that's a number and a half, right?
Yeah, that's huge, yeah.
I think that's the next thing I want to keep out. This is a very busy on your feet industry, isn't it? Right? So how does your day kind of look like?
Crazy.
Crazy? Okay.
Chaotic. It's cosmic chaos.
Okay.
It's chaotic
Love
but
that,
beautiful.
cosmic chaos.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So is there any fixed times or is it just you wake up and you go?
No. I live, I think, like I always say, routine, fundamentally, I think routine sets you free.
Yep.
So if you have a good routine, so I have a set routine. I could get up normally at 5:15. I'm a very deep sleeper. I struggle to wake up, and my wife's a light sleeper. So if I put an alarm on, she wakes up and I don't. So, so what I did was I bought this watch about 1.5 years ago. It's called a Pavlok, and what it does is, it sounds a bit over the top. It gives you an electric shock. You wear
That's extreme.
I know, it's very extreme, very barbaric.
Yeah.
So it vibrates on your wrist.
Okay.
And if you don't wake up, it gives you a little shock.
Okay.
And then if you try to snooze it, you got to press on the watch and it'll give you a little electric shock again. And it keeps shocking until you wake up. So it's like, talk about someone who takes things to the extremes. I know it to be crazy.
Surely now you just, like, your brain's trained to kind of wake up
I
before
still
it goes
sleep
off?
through it. I still sleep.
Oh, wow. That's really pushing your body to the
Yeah. So I don't know, I'm just a good sleeper.
Okay.
Anyway, then I wake up, you know, I have a piece of fruit or something, go to the gym, train, come home, spend some time with my wife and my son, make my smoothie, go to work. And it's normally, you know, start at 9 o'clock, just like most people. I try to work from home in the mornings if I can, until midday. So I split my day into AM, PM. So AM's in the mornings when I have the best energy. I try and do the stuff either with my family or make all the calls or whatever I need to do. Spend a lot of time preparing, focusing on things. And then afternoons I'll do more client-facing stuff. Because my energy starts to die down, but when you meet clients, automatically people recharge you. So I do all that stuff in the afternoon. So it is pretty chaotic, but that's kind of part of the game. But I love it, you know. So I enjoy it. I love it. So it doesn't. Most days it doesn't feel like work. Some days it does.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because what I was going to get to next was whether there's too much stress involved, and just kind of move into the mental health part of this podcast that we do quite frequently about how you deal with things. Does it sometimes get overwhelming? I guess routine helps, but still.
Oh man, like anyone that's doing a lot of things, of course there's a lot of pressure. It's a high pressure job, a lot of people's expectations, you know, and you're obviously running a company, so there's people within the company, outside of the company. Any people business comes with, it's just part of our job is to solve problems. That's what we get paid to do. So I just love solving problems and have some fun along the way. But yeah, there are definitely some stressful times. But man, I do a lot of. Actually, I have this watch, right? Virat Kohli wears the watch too. It's called a Whoop.
My house one. Yeah, the subscription-based thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very interesting, yeah.
So it showed up as an ad, and again, like I'm trying stuff, and I saw Kohli wear it, and I thought, I wonder what this is. So I bought it. And I've only had it for about 10 days, and I'm trying it, and it gives you an assessment of your sleep performance, your stress performance. And I'm actually doing really well on it. So, you know, because sometimes you think you're doing good, but you're not. But so far, everything's good. But it's interesting to be able to see all the stats and what it thinks of your mental space. But yeah, some days it's hard. I try and move. Routine's good. Meditation's good. I have a set of rituals, like, you know, I know if I go to a haircut, if I go and get a new suit made, stuff like that helps. And a lot of times, I find if I can sleep on something, I automatically feel lighter. So if I've had a tough day and there's a lot of stuff going on, I try not to make too many decisions in the moment. Like I'll just let things cool down. And if I wake up in the morning and if I feel that I'm still by the time I wake up, things would have, you know, that extreme high emotion would have cooled off if that ever happens. But mental health, obviously. I look at myself as a corporate athlete. So we're all athletes.
Corporate athlete. I love that term.
So if you're an athlete, you just look after your body and your mind as much as possible. And but tough times, you try and deal with them, and hence why the energy healer and all this sort of stuff, you know, like meditation and gym and energy healing and spending time with your family and listening to good stuff and or, you know, eating good as much as possible. Like they're all sort of little things.
They're all little combinations of small things coming together to make it easier, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, two things actually. Firstly, the whoop sounds a lot better than shocking yourself in the morning. I just want to say that. Let's get rid of that. Let's keep the whoop on. I think it sounds much nicer.
Yeah.
And the second thing was defining how stress is now and then compared to how you were when you were 18 and you first came here. They were both extremely stressful situations, of course, drastically different as well. Is there any similarities you draw from both of them?
Both came with their own set of small wins and stresses.
Yep.
I think when I was 18, 19, when I first came here with 2,000 in my pocket, I didn't know anyone. I didn't speak the language as well. Obviously no family. I'd never even travelled outside of my city without my parents, let alone into a brand new country. So that was a different experience. That stress was more about survival. This stress is more about progression. So they're both stresses, but they're very different types of stresses. That was like kill or be killed, like not literally, like no one was out there to kill us, but it was very much like kill or be killed.
Backs against the wall kind of stuff, yeah.
100%. So that was more about survival. So how are we going to survive? I remember, and I'm lucky, I come from a great family, you know, my mum's amazing, graceful lady, my dad's great, he's tough. And about 2 months in, all my friends got a job and I still hadn't got my first job. And I called them and I was just really down and I was nearly in tears and I said to my mum, I said, I want to come back. This is not for me. I think I just want to come back. My mum being mum, okay, but don't worry, no worries, come back, you know, whatever.
Mums are here for that.
Yeah. And my dad takes the phone and he's like, well, we spent all of our life savings to send you there. So once you make all that money back, you come back. And I just felt in the moment, I'm like, my dad, I hate him, you know? But I look back and I go, thank God he was tough on me and I stayed because I didn't get the choice and somehow I figured out a way to survive. So it was very much about survival, whereas now the stresses are related to progression because you want to do better. You want to do better than what you did yesterday or the month before or the year before. And you want to keep pushing your potential and see what's achievable. I mean, as humans, we're automatically greedy. You get to this point and you think, can I do a little bit more and can I do that little bit more? And you want to just keep doing more stuff. So that automatically comes with stress, and stress is not a bad thing, right? So this is the life cycle of how we all operate, you know, in a relationship or in business or in life. You know, our life follows this cycle of harmony, disharmony, and repair. So there's great harmony, everything's perfect, you are flying, and you're in flow. A happy human is one in flow, everything's just flowing, it's beautiful. Then there's disharmony, something happens, you have an argument at home, or something at work breaks, or someone at work disappointed you, or something just went terribly wrong. That's disharmony. And then there's the stage of repair. The growth happens in the repair stage. So the one thing that separates the good from the great is how they repair. And that's I know getting very psychological here, but that's I think that's a huge part of the learning process that sort of happened over the years. I've just learned to repair better. You know, I'm an incredible loser. I know how to lose well.
Beautiful. Love that.
It's losing is a part of winning, you know. So I think now I know how to take a loss and still move forward.
Which is important, I think, in any careers, right?
It's a key ingredient.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Now we kind of move to the final part of our podcast. I would request you to look into that camera.
Sure.
Anything going on in your personal, professional life? Anything big coming up? Any projects, real estate, or again, personal as well? If you want to just tell our audience, I mean, my family, your family, and the other viewers that should drop in.
Huge projects coming up. Big one coming up. We've got another Chokshi joining the clan, so another kid due in a month. So that's going to be amazing. Baby number 2. We don't know this time if it's a boy or a girl, so I'm hoping it's a girl. If it's a boy, I told my we bought a 7-seater car, so I told her we keep going, you know, until we get a girl. So that's really, really exciting. My parents are here. My mum just got here. My dad's coming in a couple of weeks, so that's really exciting. We're going to India next year, which will be cool. Business is going well. We've had some big players join our business, so that's really, really exciting. We've got a few other things in the works. We've got some bold plans of expansion coming up as well. So we just finalised an acquisition 2 months ago. We've got another one in the talks at the moment. So Fair bit happening on that front, and I can't wait to share that with everyone. So yeah, super excited.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. The one and only Kevin. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
helping
Thanks for
me.
having me. It's been a real joy. Thank
Yeah,
you.
especially, I mean, you having to take time out of your day, which sounds absolutely incredibly hectic.
I know
I'm
what
glad
the-
I get to
yeah,
sit in
that's
this chair
right,
at least.
man.
I mean, my boss is here, but I can sit in this chair for another hour at least. So at least that works out for me. Right?
Yeah, no, awesome.
Yeah.
No, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Like, share, and subscribe once again, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Fantastic. Thank you.